This is our next chapter. This is part 4, so we're getting to the more exciting climax parts of the book. And this chapter is obviously told by Rat, who sort of establishes himself as a bit of a hero here. I think he actually says at one point during the chapter that he's the hero or the saviour. So who am I to argue with him? We see here, there is the leader there. We see on this little note here that Mulligan has changed, and I've tried to use blue to represent things that the author does, and we can see that Rat's style of speaking is not as correct as Olivia's was. Things like much shorter sentences, much more to the point, and less sort of descriptive language. And so Mulligan's used that to sort of differentiate between the boys who are uneducated and young, and also Olivia who's older and obviously well educated. Interesting, on the next page you see that Rat refers to themselves as wanted men. I know that's a pretty easy sort of line to use, but these boys are acting like men. They're solving crime and they're bringing justice to people that have not had it for a long time. So they are acting like men, which is sort of the point. We go down here and we see that a little bit of sign of sort of boy Raffaellas, showing here that he's not willing to beg despite their predicament, and that tells us something about Raph. And then we also see Gardo telling Rat to shut up. So clearly Gardo and Raph don't think begging's a good idea, but Rat obviously is a much more pragmatic and sensible person and sees the need to do that. It's an interesting choice by Mulligan to compare their new little room where they've hidden as a coffin. We know that there was a reference to the graveyard, and that's where the money might be. And also later on we see that the story heads there. So it's an interesting choice. There we go, there we see underneath two in the yellow, there we see that Rat referring to himself as the hero. So here, a nice little mixture of metaphor and in the book. We see that the weather is getting hotter. They feel, you can see there that these fins are getting hotter and hotter, and that obviously would refer to not only the temperature of the outside, we can see that in the weather, but also the pressure that they're feeling from behind. A little bit below we see there that Raph still has that longing for his family, whereas Rat seems to be less conflicted because obviously he left no one at Bahala, and there's a nice reference to family again if that's the question that you're going to attempt on your journaling. Over here we've got a bit of Gardo again. Gardo going to work out what the guard is doing and following him and making contact with him, which is obviously an incredibly brave thing to do in such a corrupt part of the world. And then obviously we see that Marco attempts to do the boys out of their money, and we can see that the nice example of the corruption that's ever present in this part of the book. I do like this bit here where it says that the Zen partner was becoming more and more present in the media, and it seems like his crimes of stealing money from all the poor people was starting to catch up to him. And we see references to him being as the fat man, and up here we see him as the fat pig, and so we get this negative connotation. Now that the boys have learned who he is, they're actually, Mulligan has changed the way they refer to him. He's no longer referred to as the senator, but rather harsh terms as fat pig, and they want his money, and the fact that it's not theirs doesn't really matter because as they see it, and probably correctly so, the money was meant to be for the poor. There's another little moment about Rat sort of thinking about how just seeing how Jose ended up, and despite Jose stealing $6 million, the boys and the author and probably us too are positioned to have the idea that what he did was a good thing and that he would be in heaven, and that's what that reference there is about. So then we've got Rat heading back to Bahala, having to do it on All Souls Night, which, correct me if I'm wrong, we call Halloween, which would be October 31, Day of the Dead being November 1st. And we see why later, because the code on the safe was going to be changed on the first of the month. So we had to get back before that changed. A reference down here that he needed to be another reference to family, really, and Rat talking about the fact that he has no family, which is questionable now that he has the boys, but there is no family to defend him and look after him, and if he gets caught, it'll be bad news for him. He immediately then goes on to the next page and talks about Father Juilliard, who was the closest thing to a father he had. He references him to that he loved him, and then on the page over he talks about Father Juilliard giving him food, giving him money, kissing him, which are all very fatherly duties or roles, and that's a nice thing, because we get to see, I think, through this chapter, the sort of compassion that Father Juilliard had for Rat in particular. The other major sort of point in this part is that we see that the truth about Rat, and that Rat is admirable and he's courageous and he's resilient, but he's also a thief, and he's not a normal thief because he has a conscience. He says what he knows what he's doing is bad, but he's still a thief. And how does that position us to think about Rat? Does it make us think he's a less valuable character or a less worthy character, or does it actually endear him to you a little bit more? I love this on this page too, where there is the real regret and the real sorrow of having to do what he did, and because he didn't have the education to write, he drew a picture, and I think that's a lovely example of the relationship between Father Juilliard and Rat, and how Rat thought about him, and that coupled with this bit in pink makes for a very powerful relationship, and a great case for what is a family, and that this family is a very different family. Chapter finishes up with Rat asking himself about Jose, that despite him feeling all these horrible feelings over here, and that he needs to do this. He can't. Jose Angelico got smashed apart by the police, so he needed to carry on, and it raises that question: Is it okay to commit a crime as long as you're doing the greater good? Something like Robin Hood, was that okay to steal from the rich as long as it was given to the poor? Is it okay to steal something if the person who has it in the first place got it corruptly or through crime? Last little bit here before we finish up again, it says another little reference to Raph and his need for family, and Rat actually goes in, and it's a nice thing for Rat to have an arm around him and stuff, and that's another sign of, I suppose, the family or the growing bond between the boys, despite Rat feeling like this, which is I'm not sure I'd ever describe him as those things, but that's obviously how he sees himself. Okay, so we'll get on to the next chapter, which is obviously Gardo's chapter, next time.